Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy,
Hey, other buddy.
that's listening.
How y'all doing? Uh, oh,
Excuse me. Sorry. Did I blow your ears out?
yes.
That was not intended.
This is recorded live. You're listening to this live. Okay, maybe we record it and then post it. Eventually, we will live stream it.
But it's a one-shot deal.
It's a one-shot deal. We do not edit. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
We're just awesome and can nail podcasts. So
Yeah. So today I thought maybe we could talk about our concerts that we've been to in the past, because right now we can't go to concerts because of the China virus,
the China virus.
the coronavirus, COVID-19 that evolves into COVID-19. I'm like a stupid numbers nerd, and I've studied this thing for 3 months now, almost 3 months, 2.5 months, and unfortunately, my all of my worst case scenarios have become true so far.
Well, if we put it
So,
in this context, the supposedly 70% of the people on the earth are going to get the coronavirus at some
yes,
point.
absolutely.
So why are we shutting ourselves off and and doing all that if everybody's going to get it anyway?
This is a
And
podcast
freaking out
this is
freaking out and buying a whole bunch of toilet paper that nobody needs.
I actually have the answers to that, but let's do that on a different podcast
Okay.
tomorrow. No,
Sounds good.
seriously, we I was gonna ask you at the end if you wanted to do podcasts. Sorry, everybody, we're just talking amongst ourselves. Just like
I'm always available, brother.
yeah, tomorrow I want to start a daily podcast and talk about that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That'll be a different. It'll actually be on a different channel.
I'm good.
So, because I have the answer to each of those questions,
Yeah.
and the answer is effing terrifying.
Right.
So,
Well, it is, isn't it? And it isn't. If you can just accept the fact that it needed to happen, then it doesn't really. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
70% of the world starving to death.
Right.
That's a reality.
It's very true.
So, anyway, concerts. It's
Concerts.
sad. It's sad because like all these concerts are being canceled.
Yeah, that does suck. Like that's a huge thing about sports too. Because
oh my god, yeah, yeah.
Nothing to watch now.
I know. I'm so sorry. And it's spring training time.
Oh, don't even get me started. Let's not go down that road because I'm so upset that I can't watch my Cubbies.
I understand. So, anyway, let's change the subject to something much more pleasant. Let's talk about concerts that we have been to and why they were an amazing experience or a horrible experience.
Great stories on this one.
Sweet, like what?
Like what? You want to get right into it?
Yeah, right into it.
So,
we've already been recording for 45 minutes. 3 minutes,
yeah,
45
that's
seconds.
that's just us talking.
That's just banter.
That's right.
Go
My
for it.
first concert ever has one of the funniest concert characters I've ever seen ever. So I guess you could call that like an epic experience.
Oh,
Because the bands were awesome.
yeah.
And the dudes we were sitting around, the dude in particular that we were sitting around was worth the price of admission. So
Okay.
that was that.
Everyone that's actually watching, this is our first time trying this podcast on YouTube, and everyone actually watching might know the band because I pulled up their Wikipedia page ahead of time.
Which one?
I don't know. Tell me what the band was.
It was REO Speedwagon, Eddie Money, and Blue Oyster Cult. That was my very first concert back in, I had to have been like 90, early 90s.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago. I'm old.
No, man.
But I was at that was at John O'Donnell Stadium in
Yeah.
down there, and this guy that we were sitting in front of, or in behind actually,
Hmm.
behind and to the left a little bit. Um, but he was about 2 rows in front of us, and we were sitting in bleachers.
Hmm.
And it wasn't like packed or anything, but we were in the upper part of the bleachers because we just were being cool teenagers and wanted to be up there. And this guy was he he was in tight jeans, a tucked in cut off shirt, and he had a red curly mullet with glasses on. And he was like a 5'2" kind of a guy and real skinny, and just that's what he looks like, right?
Yeah.
But the
So you just
entire
described me to the audience. You could have just said it was you, Dr. Naughty.
no, this dude was a little redheaded Jerry curl guy, and I'll never forget him. I'll never forget him until the day I die, because he was the entire 3 band set was standing and dancing in place, and I'm pretty sure his feet never moved. It was all upper body,
Hmm.
and we just had the funnest time watching this guy dance. It was almost like the music was secondary to this guy.
Nice.
So that was my very first concert. Um, and it gets better from there. I've got quite a few different stories that are if you follow or are a music buff, um, I've been to some cool concerts and seen some cool things. Um, yeah. What
Yeah.
was your first concert?
I don't know. Oh my God. It was supposed to be ACDC.
It was supposed to be ACDC.
Yeah, but it was this.
How
It
was it
it was a
supposed to
school night, and I waited to the last second to ask my parents if I could stay over at my friend's house because like there's no way they would have let me go to ACDC.
right?
And
You're wasting.
yeah, and they're like, no, you can't go. Well, I had already paid for the ticket, so my buddy
Right.
sold the ticket and bought me a T-shirt with it.
Ah,
Um, but
the old buy a T-shirt.
yeah, but like he had like no one else went with him, so it was just him, and we were not 16 yet, so his mom drove him to Iowa City to
Wow.
watch it, which was an hour and a half drive with your
By
mom
himself.
in the station wagon. They had
Why didn't
like
she go in with him?
when she I don't know Barb. It was Barb. Her name was Barb. Barb.
Barb.
Barb. Barb.
Barb
I don't
nice.
know. I don't know why Barb didn't go in. She could have used my ticket. I think, but then like hanging out with your mom when you're 14, like everybody loved Barb except for my buddy.
Right. Right.
So you know how it goes.
Yeah, but still, I'd be like, "Fuck you, son. I'm going to the
Let's
concert with you."
let's try not to swear.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, but that's yeah. So that was supposed to be my first show. Um,
But what was the?
wow. Mm, I don't
How old
know.
were
I don't know. I was like 14 for that
How old were
one.
you when you went to your actual first one?
I don't know. I don't know which one was my first. I'm trying to figure it out because it would have been around. Um, no, it had to have been before college. Once I was 16, I know I went to some stuff at the same. Like I saw stuff at John O'Donnell, and I saw stuff.
So
No,
who
I
did you
never saw anything at John O'Donnell. I saw stuff at the
fair?
fairgrounds and
Yeah.
stuff. I may have seen. I know I saw REO Speedwagon way back then. Also, I don't know if one of them lives where we grew up or what, but it seems like they're always there. So,
Huh.
they play that mid market tour every summer, I guess.
It wouldn't surprise me if they were like
The
from
locals,
the Midwest or something.
yeah. Yeah, a bunch of stuff like that where it wasn't super memorable. I didn't have like, I mean, it was
Well,
memorable, but like
I mean,
not as memorable as
apparently
your guy.
you aren't the older music buff that I am.
Well, no, no, no. That's not it. I was into super heavy stuff back then.
Right.
So like Blue Oyster Cult, like out of REO Speedwagon, Any Money, and Blue Oyster Cult, Blue Oyster Cult is the only one out of all of those that I even listen to now. Like,
Right.
uh,
Right.
like
You can't listen to some REO Speedwagon. Come
mm-mm.
on now.
I
Come
do
on
because if
now.
my buddy at the office plays it, um, and he drives the music machine most
Yeah.
days. But now that I'm working from home, like we send links to songs to each other to like say, hey, this is what I'm listening to. It's kind of sad, dude. It's kind of sad not being able. Like my team is not like they're like, hey, we need all of you to work from home, and I'm like, is it okay if I come in anyway? And they said, no, don't come in. I'm like,
Huh.
crap. So
That's like my perfect reality
I
right
know, and that's most people's perfect reality. But I am a single dude. I live by myself, and that is like a huge extension of my social life is the office. So,
now.
like,
Yeah, I hear you.
I understand. Like, if I had, and but don't get me wrong, I have a phenomenal office at the house. I'm sitting in it. It's my Beats lab. Um, my Beat Lab. Uh, and
Because you've only made one.
so, uh, well, I did break out my musical instrument. I found a harmonica in a box that I was
You need to
unpacking
learn
the
how
other
to
day.
play it and actually
I
make
definitely am
our
going
make
to.
our make our intro song.
Yeah, so that like when the power goes out, I can still have music. So, this morning I was looking out my office window. Usually there's squirrels out there. There was a squirrel out there.
Squirrels.
Yesterday there was a baby squirrel. I knew the babies were coming because Mama would squawk at me every time I came out the front door. She'd squawk and chatter at me, and then I heard stuff rustling above her, and I couldn't see it, which means they're little. And then I saw one yesterday right outside my office window. But this morning I came in, I had a cup of coffee, and it was like 6:30 or 7, and today's Saturday. Like I'm old. I'm getting up that early on a weekend. I can't help it. And there were two deer walking through the woods right behind my window. Very cool. A young buck that was like just had yeah, and then a
Is
doe with him.
what do you call that? I don't know.
Deer.
When they get their first antlers and their
Yeah. The
whatever.
rut, whatever. I don't know.
Yes, the rut is when the females are.
I have no idea. I should know. I live out in the country, sort of.
Yeah. Well, we live in. We used to live in the middle of the country where literally the John Deere was started.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'm up in the North Georgia mountains area, so there's
Now,
deer
yeah, got
everywhere.
big boys up there now.
Yeah, South Georgia. Well, up here they're not as big. Down in South Georgia, they're monsters. Like just like you hit the deer here, they're gonna really mess up your car. The ones in South Georgia are scary massive. Like holy crap, because there's so much um agriculture down there. There's a lot of corn. It's like the Midwest. The corn fed beef fattens up the cows better than grass.
Hmm.
Corn fed deer fatten up the deer better than grass up in North Georgia because North Georgia they grow mostly trees and stuff like that. Big with like cutting down trees. Anyway, I like concerts.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get off track a little bit all the time, like every
Oh
time.
my god.
That was our first point, though. Our first concerts, and we just talked about
Yeah.
absolutely everything but.
Yeah. So one of my first concerts, man, if I like I came up with this topic earlier last night or today or whatever, and I didn't even think about it. This is actually something uh,
So you're thinking on the fly
typical.
on this one?
Yeah. And I came up with the concept yesterday.
Right.
So
I'm usually I'm the one that usually does that, and
no,
I've
no,
got
no. Like this is something that I do. Like I had a team. I'm gonna derail it again. I had this team that I worked that that I worked with that I like was a artificial leader. That means I did not have any responsibility titles. I didn't have any responsibility money, but I was in charge of like herding the cats. Not hurting, but like herding them. Like you herd sheep like,
Mhm.
and so I decided, you know what? Every Friday we're gonna have a meeting where we just kind of let loose a little bit. And to start the meeting every week, we did an icebreaker. We did an icebreaker question every Friday for 4 years. So while there were, occasionally new members, we had icebreaker questions every week, and I tried to make the question unique every week. And
Right.
people had to like there were just a couple rules, like you couldn't, you had to keep it HR compliant, and I had a couple people that would make it not HR compliant by just saying, "Whoa, whoa, 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 keep it HR compliant." That's another way of saying that's what she said without
Yeah.
being so obvious.
Yeah.
So like it was brilliant. So
Yeah. Me and those rules have been arch enemies.
I understand.
Uh,
Um yeah, but for the question every week, I would think of it the night before, because if I waited till the meeting started to think of it, I wouldn't be able to think of a good enough question usually. Every so I thought I had a practice of thinking of it the night before, and sometimes I would accidentally think of my answer, but I usually forced myself to not think about it. I would just walk away from it. I would write it down and walk away. Um, and so there were many times that I did not have an answer to my own question for the icebreaker, because it would be things like this, it would be things like, what's the favorite concert you've ever been to? Because one of the rules was you can't repeat an answer that someone else gave.
ah,
So yeah, other because there would otherwise there'd be you'd ask one question and everyone would have the same answer. So and then people would curse at you if you said an answer that they wanted to say. It was
so that
phenomenal.
it was their answers were ever evolving then.
Absolutely. You had to be on your toes so that you could have, multiple answers. And what was awesome is if you could nail like two or three, if two or three different people would say the answers that someone else had, which happened occasionally and was like epic. Uh, but yeah, so that
Gotcha.
yeah, concerts are awesome.
Concerts. Woo! So what is
Whee!
your first one?
I don't know, man. It was
Have
one
to
of
have
those.
an
It was
answer.
one of those goofy ones at the fairgrounds out in
The first one that you
Pleasant
remember.
Valley.
First one that you remember being at then, not just a random one at the fairground. Tell me what's your first,
Probably Metallica.
is it?
Yeah,
How old were you?
I don't know. I was 17.
Okay. Where was it?
Iowa City.
Awesome. So how'd you got an hour away and that's the first one you remember?
I
That'd
think
be,
I
I've always wanted to go to
think
their concert.
so.
I've never gotten to, but so
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw
they're
them twice. Um, I
when
saw
you were
them
younger
twice.
or separate, like
Not
once
like
when
the
you're
same
younger.
tour.
Girl?
They
Okay.
toured the Black Album, the Metallica album. They toured
Uh-huh.
that one for a long time. And I saw them at the University of Iowa, and then I saw them at the University of Illinois.
Very cool.
Yeah, and the first time I saw them, they still had the flash pots, and then James got burned, and they took a break, and then they used strobe lights. Like they don't use actual fire on stage anymore because he burned up his hands because he was
Well,
standing.
that and the White Snake, right? The White Snake.
Oh yeah, yeah, that probably took it down for everybody.
Yeah.
Well, it was Great White.
Okay, there you
Once
go.
bitten, twice shy. Yeah,
Yes, that's the one.
yeah. Um, yeah. That like their thing was like they had some pyrotechnics going, and they were in a small club, and it was packed, and the pyrotechnics um failed or whatever, and
It just blew
started
up,
on
and
fire
yeah, it
and
did
killed
a
a
lot.
whole lot of people. a, like a whole lot of people. So while the flash pots were way cooler than the strobe lights, I totally understand.
Yeah, that's not a way to go. Well, I mean, maybe it is a good way to go at one of your favorite band
Yeah,
shows. Just
yeah.
flames and fire, and if that was Metallica, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you got any cool event happenings that happened at any of your concerts that were memorable?
Hmm. Oh man,
Because I do.
I do, but you tell yours first.
All right, well, I've got a few of them.
I'm gonna write one down.
I went and saw Bob Dylan with Kenny Wayne Shepherd opening over at the Adler Theater,
Okay.
and Chodo was there as well, and he got up on stage and we got up on stage at the end of the Bob Dylan concert.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so that was cool. Um, he's got a better story, but mine was just standing there, you know,
He
acting
used to
like a
be so
doofus.
different than he is now.
Yeah, I know, right? It's all good. He's not any different in my head.
I understand. And he's still the same person. It's just that,
Yeah,
like,
and I treat him the same way as I used to, and I think he likes that.
right
Or
on.
I think he likes it and doesn't like it at the same
I understand.
time. But that was one cool one. I got on stage at Bob Dylan, and the after show activity was just as awesome because we went out to Denny's and had some food at like 3 in the morning. Um, but we saw, all right, so there was this couple in Denny's just off to the side. They were dressed in the same flannel red and black checkered shirts,
Hmm.
tight blue jeans, and cowboy boots. And they were like dancing in the middle of Denny's. Like they had moved the tables apart and were just kind of dancing like country dancing in the middle of Denny's at 3 in the morning.
That's
But
awesome.
but you can't guess what race they were.
We don't talk about race on our channel.
But what they just weren't who you would normally see at 3 in the morning dressed as cowboys dancing in country style fashion. Is
I,
all.
I
That's what I
understand.
mean.
And that's why we don't talk about it because, like, everybody fits into their own individual box.
Absolutely.
So
But I'm a people watcher,
I
and that was
understand. I
it was
understand.
just a little
I
tidbit
understand.
to cover off the one of the best cool things ever of being able to stand on stage at the Bob Dylan concert. You know, I got to say that, and how many other
That is
people
really
ever say that?
awesome. I do faintly remember you and Choda talking about that years ago, but I
Yeah,
definitely want to dig into that privately with
his
you.
his
So
account is way better than mine.
I understand. I understand. Yeah, I actually have, like, I wrote down four of them, um, and one of them is him, is Choda at the BC Boys concert.
Oh, you guys got to go together?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we went. They played Atlanta at. It was called the Lakewood Amphitheater at that time. Now it's like Verizon Amphitheater or something. I don't know.
right, right.
But it's in the Lakewood area of Atlanta. And I went. My brother and my kid's mom went with me, and she was pregnant with my first kid. So technically, it was my first kid's first show.
technically not really, but kind of.
Yeah,
You probably heard it a little bit,
yeah, she was pretty
muffled,
She was pretty
muffled wise.
pregnant. So like we came in after the show started, or like we came in. We didn't like participate in the crowd. I don't know if maybe they let us in a side door. I think they let us in a side door because she was so pregnant.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then we sat. It's an outdoor amphitheater, and we went and sat at the very top, so we weren't like surrounded by all the smoke because there was a
Did you
lot of
get to,
tobacco
did you
smoke and a
did you get
lot
to witness?
of the good marijuana smoke, and
Oh,
then
okay, gotcha,
and
gotcha.
then and then we're sitting up there, and as soon as they start playing, like 20 guys ran up to the fence and climbed over the fence and jumped into the amphitheater.
Right.
I was so excited for them. I was like, yeah. And then but then at that same exact moment, Choda's like, "Hey, I gotta go," and he disappeared.
I
And
know
we
exactly where he went.
he went to the mosh pit.
Yeah, he did.
There was a
Have you ever
massive
seen him? Have
mosh
you ever
pit.
seen him dance? Like, did you?
No, I never
Oh
did.
man,
I had to stay with her, so I couldn't go with him. I was actually highly disappointed that I could not participate how I usually participate in concerts back then. So
I love going to concerts with Joda.
I bet, I bet that was insane. But yeah, he came. Like we're like, hopefully he's okay. And at the end of the show, he like just appears, like, bing. He's like, dude, that was amazing. I'm like, I bet it was. So,
I've half of the concerts I've ever been to were with him.
yeah, you guys hung out a
So
lot.
yeah, we did. We went to a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
together.
yeah, yeah.
It was awesome, and his dancing is definitely legendary for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But like one of my other big ones, probably the one that I wrote down first that came to mind first was I saw the Beastie Boys at the Call Ballroom.
So
That
you've seen him twice,
I've seen the Beastie Boys 2 or 3 times.
man.
I saw them on the Check Your Head tour. That was the first time I saw them live. And they did a big stadium tour and then they did a small club tour. And I think it was the Call Ballroom. It's tiny. Like
Yeah.
and tiny and packed. Like absolutely packed. We bought our tickets the day they came out, me and my buddy, that his mom was Barb. Um and his brother may have bought us the booze that we may have drank because we were not 21. Just kidding. We would never do that.
No,
Um,
never.
and like just phenomenal show, like out of control show because they're a punk band and their shows are like they play their instruments in the shows. It was insane. It was insane. And so there's
They
this
played a punk show.
they basically played they take their music that they recorded in the studio
Uh-huh.
and they play live guitars for half of them and
Awesome.
drums and yeah it was insane and
But
then some of it they do the Beastie Boys um overlap which is like a it's actually a soccer move that they do which is like that you learn in like the beginning strategies of soccer where it's called an overlap where it's 3 people and it's the way you weave in among each other and the Beastie Boys actually have that as a dance routine that they do while they perform which is awesome but yeah that show was insane but it was out the fans were out of control like at one point I'm like there's God there were less than 1,000 people in this place. Like, I don't think it was a call ballroom. I think it was something else. I got the ticket somewhere. I'll have to find it. But anyway, like it's tiny,
I
and
want to see them so bad.
yeah, you can't now.
I know.
So
I
rip
remember when they were hooked up
MCA.
with Rage and they were going to,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wanting I was gonna go to that, and then somehow I think Mike got hit by the car when he was on this bike,
Mike.
and that kind of threw the kibosh on that and
Yeah,
stopped it.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was insane. So at that show, it was really rough because they were like they returned. they are turned up. Um,
For real.
and every so and it was mostly dudes in there, mostly like super aggressive punk guys were in there too for some reason. I guess
Because
maybe
that's
word
what
had
they were
gotten out.
before. It was
I know, but
before they.
this is like their third album, so
Yeah,
they
but
weren't.
still, they got the respect of that community.
I guess so, man. And it was pretty rough. Like there was no real room for a pit in this place. So it was just a bunch of like shoving, and then randomly somebody punched me in the kidneys. Like as I'm
Oh,
facing
really?
forward, someone just randomly just punches me in the kidneys and drops me to my knee, and I had to. You got to jump straight back up, or you're gonna get trampled because it was
Right.
just the crush. It was oh my god. That's why they're not having concerts right now. Is at a show
Yeah.
like that, everybody just like ditches their chairs and presses up against the front. So yeah, you're not practicing social distance at a concert. It's impossible.
Yeah, especially something like that
Yeah,
in
like
an
the
intimate setting. Because I've seen some heavy um, bands
yeah.
all in like a place like place down by Disney.
Oh,
Shoot.
that gay bar.
Yeah, that one. No. It's a famous one, but I can't remember the
It's
name.
okay that you're gay though. I'm
Yeah, I know. It's
so
like a big, yeah. Shoot. Anyway, all right. So we've got our first one's done. We've got Bob Dylan done. Beastie Boys. I'm really just super upset that I never got to go with you on any of those.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because you moved here for a bit, and you moved here right after that show.
man, that would have been cool.
That would have been sick.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. Um, so maybe someday in the future when they get going again,
Yeah.
we could go see at least two of them.
Yeah, they're gonna try to do concerts live, but virtually for a bit. Um,
I would love to see like a hologram.
no,
Yeah,
like you'll sit at your house and watch the concert though.
yeah, yeah, but
So
still, I've heard of out in Vegas they have like the hologram ones,
yeah,
and
that
it's
would
like
be
they're
sick.
there,
That would be sick for
right?
sure. I want a hologram that pops up out of my phone,
Yeah,
like
someday.
Princess Leia.
Or you click a button on your glasses and it plays, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what other stories you got? I got a bunch.
I got a
If you don't,
bunch, but let's save them.
okay.
So I feel like we can do a bunch of these, and maybe we can just like take this concept and just do one podcast about the entire concert.
Yeah, but I remember few and far between on some of these.
I know, but if we start thinking about it, maybe it'll work. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I want to save it because like we're right around the 30-minute mark right now. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's
Yeah, because I've got at least another hour worth
oh dude, yeah, yeah, easily I do too,
easily.
like more than that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, thanks for listening, buddy. Sorry we gotta go
Thank
so
you, buddy,
early.
brother.
Thank you, other buddy. You're super cool. And I pulled up the it was the Station nightclub fire, and there were 100 people that died, and
R.I.P.
230 people that were injured. Yeah,
That's a
um,
lot
and it
to
says that
go down at a Great White concert as well. I mean, if
hopefully they were playing their big song. You know,
uh, their one big song, you mean?
yeah, once bitten, twice shy.
Yeah.
I
Um,
actually love that song. That's in my top 1,000 songs.
top 1,000. Once bitten, twice shy, baby.
I do
That's like
turn the
David.
volume up when that comes on the radio. And yes, I do still listen to the radio.
That's
So,
funny.
yeah. But yeah, it says there were 100 deaths 4 were in hospitals. That means 96 people died on scene.
And 0 from the band.
Well, yeah, they're closer to the exit in the back.
Yeah.
So, yep, got to be ready. Got to know where those exits are, bro.
Yes, they do.
No,
Especially when you're
like
going to a Great Rock concert.
I'm actually doing that right now.
What?
I park near the back entrance now.
Oh, you're planning your getaway?
Uh-huh.
Where are you going to get away to?
To undisclosed bunker in the mountains.
Yeah. You should come down here. This is where it's at.
I know, but y'all don't have enough food.
Yeah, we do. What are you talking about? If one of us dies, you can eat one of us, too.
Okay, now I got enough food. 18 months. You got 18 months for each of you.
We have 18 months worth of opportunity.
I understand. So, yeah,
It's hard to keep 18 months worth of food
I understand.
without spoiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
So unless you got a bunch of dry goods,
Yeah.
which we do, but it's like,
You don't have 18 months worth.
no, not 18 months worth.
I
But
don't
we got
either.
we got close to, I'd say, 8-10 months worth of food at least.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Between there and here, I believe
No.
we do. We'd have to absolutely ration it, but
Yeah.
we need to do that anyway.
I know. I'm looking forward to losing some weight. Look at the positives. Dude, I'm finally going to lose the weight. Why? Because I ain't got nothing left to eat.
Right.
Look how fit I am. Yeah, but you're going to die in a week. Whatever.
That's the only way it would get it if it got in to our ranks. That's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Literally every one of us has a big risk
Oh,
factor.
yeah. I was diagnosed with bronchial asthma when
Yeah.
I was 5, and I'm 45 now. So I've experienced pneumonia many times, and it is not pleasant. And this is supposed
No,
to
it is
be
not.
the worst pneumonia that anyone's ever had. So great.
Don't say that.
But that's only if it evolves into that. Not everyone does.
Right. I'm paranoid because I have a little bit of shortness of breath lately, but I
Yeah.
think it's the allergies. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Could be that you're
Yeah, well, that too. But
because I
I'm
have that.
swollen. I'm swollen.
You're swollen?
Like, yeah, like it's the last month I've been like swollen and bloated and
Yeah.
can't breathe, and so I've been paranoid. It's not. I know
Great.
it's not that because I'm kind of in quarantine anyway.
Yeah. Do you have
So
fever?
no.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a combination of fever and other stuff. So,
Right.
yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening, people. Person.
Thanks, brothers
Thanks,
and
Ma.
sisters.
Later, dude.
Later.